Stop waiting for H200 shipments to China. If you think Beijing will eventually approve Nvidia's GPUs, you're focusing on the wrong chip. The reality is China has a significant interest in Nvidia's Vera CPU rather than the H200. Nvidia has begun taking orders for the Vera CPU in China, with potential shipments expected by August 2026. One major Chinese cloud provider is planning an initial order of over 300 servers, with the first deployments set for overseas data centers to test performance before scaling operations in China. Jensen Huang, Nvidia's CEO, has identified this as a $50 billion annual opportunity. The challenge with the H200 lies in government approvals. While 10 Chinese firms are cleared to buy, there have been 0 deliveries. This is largely due to Beijing's push for domestic chips, notably the Huawei Ascend, which is obstructing foreign imports. In contrast, the Vera CPU might experience fewer export hurdles, because CPUs are not as tightly controlled as GPUs. This shift signifies a pivot not just for Nvidia, but for the entire landscape regarding chip technology in China. Nvidia's adaptation reveals a keen awareness of market dynamics. I used to check constantly for H200 delivery updates, only to discover the focus has shifted to Vera CPU. With the GPU game seemingly over, it's vital to examine how Nvidia is redefining its strategy in China. By the end of this discussion, you'll understand the significance of Vera CPU in Nvidia's new approach. Let's address the current climate. The situation surrounding H200 in China is stark. 10 firms approved for purchase, yet no deliveries. High-profile companies such as Alibaba, Tencent, ByteDance, and JD.com are on that list. But the reality is bleak. The Chinese government is actively discouraging these purchases in favor of local alternatives. In contrast, with Vera CPU, Nvidia is taking proactive steps by accepting orders and aiming for shipments as early as August 2026. The critical point is that while China is shutting its doors on GPUs, it may remain more open to CPUs. The export controls on CPUs are considerably looser, allowing Nvidia to exploit this opportunity. Evidence of this shift comes from the major Chinese cloud provider ordering over 300 Vera CPU servers, with the initial implementation planned for overseas. By testing abroad, they aim to demonstrate the capabilities of Vera CPU, potentially paving the way for a successful rollout within China. Jensen Huang's $50 billion annual opportunity for China illustrates the potential scale of this venture. Nvidia's total revenue last quarter was about $81.5 billion, meaning that a successful Vera CPU deployment in China could represent a significant increase in earnings. However, we must also be cautious. The H200 experience serves as a warning. Although 10 firms are approved for the H200, there were no actual shipments. With this historical context, it's important to remember that approvals do not guarantee deliveries. The same government pressures resulting in discouragement for H200 could impact the Vera CPU as well. Until we see a Vera CPU physically in Chinese data centers, we must regard this prospect as potential rather than certain. Now, let's highlight 3 essential insights that tie everything together. The first secret is the GPU versus CPU loophole. Export controls for GPUs are significantly tighter than for CPUs, which gives Nvidia a legal advantage. If Vera CPU is classified as a general-purpose CPU, it may encounter fewer restrictions, which is a gamble Nvidia is betting on. The second secret is the critical takeaway from the H200 situation. Being approved doesn't translate to actual shipments. China has the capacity to approve orders but also to discourage purchases afterward. Until we see actual Vera CPU shipments, we should remain skeptical. The third secret centers on the overseas first strategy. Before rolling out the Vera CPU in China, the plan is to test its performance in overseas data centers. If these initial tests fail, the chance for success in China diminishes. However, if the tests prove the product's capabilities, it could open the $50 billion opportunity wide. So, what actions should you take with this information? If you own Nvidia stock, view the Vera CPU in China as a potential catalyst rather than a confirmed one. Keep an eye on updates regarding shipments and test results. If shipments of the Vera CPU do occur in China, it would represent a significant positive shift. For those optimistic about China's tech future, remember that the H200 situation should temper enthusiasm. The government still favors domestic products. The Vera CPU has a better chance than H200. But uncertainties remain. Moving forward, monitor updates regarding server orders, shipment timelines, and profitability concerning Vera CPU. The situation holds promise, yet it's imperative to remember that Vera CPU is still a story until we see tangible deliveries. Do you believe Vera CPU will ship to China in August, or will it encounter the same fate as H200? Let me know in the comments, as I value every response. Like and subscribe for more insights into Nvidia's strategies and the evolving AI landscape.